Hello everyone, I am aware of events in the game industry and Telltale Games, and it's come at quite an opportune time to talk about it, given that I'm currently reviewing one of their games for curiosity's sake. So I'm going to be holding off talking about that until that review comes out, and I will be extending that review to reflect what has happened. I know that it will date the video, but I don't care, it's too important. I would like to apologise if I sound tired or my lack of sleep affects the video. I'm suffering from a condition known as musical hallucination, and there's literally a radio station in my head that plays at night, and it plays non-stop Diet Beatles music that's incoherent, and it's affecting my ability to sleep. However, I wanted to make this quick little thing as I told someone, a friend of mine, and I'm saying friend because it's quicker than establishing our entire relationship, but he's had a problem with monetization. He has apparently been accused of duplication and, well, he has lost his ad revenue ability as a result, meaning that he can no longer claim ad revenue and can no longer profit from his videos. This is concerning as he claims to not have any copyright strikes or anything like that, and yet he and another YouTuber have faced a similar penalty, without warning or anything in typical YouTube fashion. So, I made a comment late last night whilst I was still sleepless and going a bit crazy that I would watch all of his content and review it to see if he has violated any fair use laws or could be accused of duplication. I have not watched every single one of his videos and have instead took a sample of 3 videos per series. Considering that they are quite formulaic, I don't think that it really matters too much. The purpose of this video is to look at his individual videos, the series rather, and assess which of them are likely the culprit for being accused of duplication. So, as I mentioned, I did leave a comment on his video where I expressed my intent, and I'm not going over anything I said there, so I invite you to pause now and read it if you don't know what I said already so you can understand where I am at now. I would also like to say that I am not going to be talking about the quality of the videos or what I think about them from a critical perspective. This is purely about whether or not they constitute as fair use, and I'll be keeping my opinions to myself on regard to their quality. The first videos that were a concern for Ken was his reaction series, which I wondered myself, do they qualify as fair use? After all, if the video is not that transformative, then it could be the culprit. However, you can clearly see that Ken has transformed the video visually. The video plays in a small corner, Ken has imposed himself over it, and put his own backdrop around it and has essentially made it his own. It is his own show now. His commentary is commentary. He's critical, willing to ridicule elements of the thing he's watching, and pretty much riffs it in a fashion. And regardless of what you think of the content, I do believe that this is definitely fair use. This is a riff and holds up the content to ridicule. I've watched about 3 of them, and I would say that they do consistently qualify as fair use. I haven't seen a video where he's played the video on its own and failed to comment on it. Some could argue that his lack of commentary in places could undermine claims to fair use, and this could be true, but he's clearly letting it play out so he has something to react to. If he just rambled over it, he wouldn't be reacting to it anymore. It wouldn't be a riff. He would just be talking over it as it played quietly in the background. It's more of a territory that comes to live reacting rather than editing, riffing, or calculated improv. His game reviews was another in his list of cause for concerns, and I think that he has nothing to worry about on this front either. They are a clear-cut example of fair use, and I think that he could be held on a pedestal as a paragon, as far as this series go, of fair use. They are transformative, informative, and use all content appropriately and rather swiftly. Your game reviews are definitely in the clear. Again, your Let's Plays are a similar thing. Now there is a debate as to whether or not Let's Plays do count, but I wouldn't think that they would hold you up as accountable for the crime of every Let's Player, and I don't think they're going to set a precedent based around you, especially when PewDiePie is still kind of one of the big faces of YouTube. If they aren't fair use, I highly doubt that you would be the first person to be affected by that sudden change in the law. I heard his concerns about the European Union's law on banning memes, and from what I hear, that's kind of a gross over-exaggeration as to what the law does, but I won't get into that now. I think you're in the clear here. For a start, it's not been properly implemented yet. The systems aren't in place, and we don't know what it affects or how it affects it just yet. And more importantly, even if they were implemented, you would not be affected. You are a US citizen living in the US and follow US law. If that was the case, the EU would just ban your videos in their countries. YouTube does actually have a system for such situations to avoid overseas legal cases, where they would region lock your videos to the United States so that only people who live in the United States or any country where the videos would be legal could see it. And this would affect your revenue, as you would lose your international audience, but you wouldn't be demonetized entirely and it wouldn't be seen as a punishment. The last thing is your re-uploading of viral videos. Now, in truth, I thought this was it. I thought this was their smoking gun. And in truth, I thought that YouTube was somewhat in the right until I did a simple fact check and found out otherwise. I think this is why you face this issue though. You did say you got permission from the original uploader, but I haven't found any evidence that that is the case on the video itself. Now, this isn't an accusation or an allegation. I know you are in the clear here, and that most of this content is yours or yours by proxy. But I'm simply talking from the perspective of some random shit muncher viewing your channel who doesn't care about any of this. He just looks, sees 2 videos, and says, yep, right, wrong, I'm gonna go and get lunch now. So, from what I can tell, his videos are the earliest of these videos. I haven't found uploads that came before Ken. Now, they could exist, but I've not found them, and the fact that a lot of media outlets have actually used Ken's video and embedded it into their article mostly means that it was probably one of the originals, even if it was not the original, so I don't think duplication is necessarily what has happened here. You see, I did what YouTube didn't do and did my fucking research and discovered that SuperKen Gaming did make this girl go viral with her bass video. So, that's pretty cool, but YouTube is too fucking stupid to Google shit like this. I then noticed the Pero Arguella death video. I thought, this has to be it. But in truth, I'm not sure. I think you were one of the first people to upload this, if not the first. All I have is dates, but they all came out on the same day. And it's such a long video, I don't know if you could have, unless you realised it at like 7 o'clock in the morning and then uploaded it, but who the fuck knows. Even if it was the case that you re-uploaded somebody else's video, this would not make you a duplicator if it was a one-time offense. There are plenty of reasons why you would re-upload somebody else's content if you felt it was personally offensive to you or something like that. The way that they describe it, it makes you sound like a serial duplicator, and that you've been doing this en masse, and I see no evidence as of now that that is the case. However, I do remember that you hosted the Laughing Chewbacca Mask Woman about a year ago. I'm not sure if you had permission, learned since that you don't, or maybe permission was revoked, or I don't know. But it's not on your channel anymore, and I do think that it may have gotten reported or taken into account regardless, along with any other examples like that that may or may not have existed. I do think that hosting other people's content, regardless of intent, is probably not a good idea, if you still do it, that is, and I haven't found any evidence that you do, as I have checked your most viewed videos and I have not found any other duplication viral videos on there. If you have re-uploaded somebody else's video, even with permission, I would take down anything that you didn't make yourself, just to be safe. This doesn't count the "do you hear that bass mom" thing or "the kid destroys dollar store," as these are clearly yours and you are the original uploader. But the death of Pero Arguello video could potentially be seen as not yours, as it clearly belongs to TV Azteca. Even if they gave you permission to use it, YouTube might not give a shit. I've actually seen cases where people send YouTube letters after seeing DMCA takedown notices, and the person who issued it has expressly said that they are abusing YouTube's copyright system and they don't give a fuck. So, assuming that you have evidence that you have the rights to upload these videos, YouTube could just completely ignore it and send you the same letter again to be condescending those little schmucks about it. The fact that YouTube doesn't even tell you what is happening is the worst thing about this. YouTube is arrogant to the point that it just makes people guess, and that they're above explaining their actions, that their victims should play a guessing game as to figure out what they did wrong. I'm not 100% a believer in burden of proof is held on the accuser, but you need to at least accuse somebody of something before you punish them for it. Anyway, I don't know if your old videos count, like the Chewbacca Mask Woman. Maybe the idiots genuinely believe that the originals are re-uploads, like your Bass Mom video, because they can't read timestamps. I have looked online and most articles use your video as a fucking embedded video, and this is clearly a knee-jerk reaction from some people and some moderators on the site who don't have all the facts and have taken action anyway. Bearing in mind though that most of these things are done by robots, by algorithms. So the final thing I want to say is that if any of my viewers watch this, I would like to ask that you share this video and or SuperKen's original video. I think people should be made aware of this for his sake and the sake of other partners who could lose their AdSense at any time. I don't normally tell people to like or share or subscribe or any of that shit, but in this case, I would like to ask that you share, because, well, even though I don't believe in telling people to share for me, this isn't for me for once, and I feel like this video could help SuperKen in some way, and I would like it to have that opportunity. I would like Ken's problem to get the attention that it deserves, because I do think it's important. A man's livelihood is on the line for seemingly no reason. I would also recommend in your position that you inform YouTube content creators who are passionate about this sort of thing and are knowledgeable about it as well for any further counsel. Content creators such as Jim Sterling, Sid Alpha, Young Ye, and Your Movie Sucks may or may not be able to give you advice or may garner attention or coverage to highlight the issue or get some good counsel in on it. I'm mostly basing all of this on anecdotal evidence, based on cases like this that I've seen, and most of these cases actually came from their channels. So you might want to check out their videos related to YouTube copyright disputes and stuff like that in order to get a clearer picture as to what is happening to you. I am not a legal expert or very experienced in this area, but I have seen a lot over the past few years and thought I'd offer what I've learnt from what I have seen. I will be putting the links to their channels and any sources that I used in the description as points of contact to everyone I have mentioned in this video, as well as Ken's original video so that people can watch it and share it. I hope this helps in any way, shape or form, and I hope that I gave good counsel. I like Ken, I respect his work, he seems like an okay guy, and even if it's not to my taste, his content is definitely a product of hard work, and it deserves to see the light of day, and he deserves to be paid for what he does. I wish you the best of luck and encourage you to stay strong.